This program is brought to you by the Media Liberty Alliance Foundation in cooperation with OBBM Network TV, bringing citizen-led, creative local media to the forefront of local communities to foster a greater understanding of constitutional liberty and appreciation of what makes us truly free, starting with you and me.
Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. That way you're updated each time fresh content comes out. And thank you for being part of the Zach Ratliff Show. Okay, 3, 2.
3, 2, 1. The Zach Ratliff Show is brought to you by Mortgage Financial in Texarkana, Elmwood Custom Goods, and Church on the Rock, Texarkana. That's churchontherock.org.
Hello and welcome to the Zach Ratliff Show. I'm Zach. I'm glad to be with you. Glad you are with me. Thank God for another day. It's a cold Monday here in Northeast Texas. It's, with the chance of some winter precipitation tonight, which is weird for the first day of December. Anyway, thanks for being with me. Like I said, just thank God for another day. Thank God for living in the greatest country that there has ever been. We don't know about will be, but we know that so far there has ever been. And thank God for his mercy in my life. Golly, it's just a blessing to be here. And thank you. Thank God for you all for listening and tuning in and growing with me as this show grows more every day, week, and month, taking over the world here. And thank you for being a part of it. So, all right, today we're just going to go through some of these news articles and see what we get into. See where this crazy world takes us. Now, like I say often, don't let this overwhelm you. It's like the song says, "There's victory in Jesus." There's victory in Jesus. We just have to be aware of what's happening around us. We have to be aware of, Ephesians 6 says, there's we fight not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities not of this world. Or something to that effect, spiritual wars going on. We just have to be aware of it so we're not deceived by it. Now, I don't say that from a place of condemnation or judgment because I'm a sinner and I sin every day. But that's where we're going. So anyway, let's get into it and let's see what we can make happen here. All right, let's start with thecentersquare.com. Thecentersquare.com. Attack foiled in Fort Worth the day before the National Guard troops were shot in Washington, D.C. What? It wasn't just a lone wolf type deal? And who was going to do it but another Afghan terrorist? Another guy that was brought in under the same conditions that Project Operation Bring In a Terrorist or whatever Joe Biden had that brought in all these Afghan nationals that weren't vetted. It was another guy. We are under attack. We are at war. We need to understand that. These people hate us. Talking about these Afghani terrorists. And here's what I don't get. We're talking about the cutting off your nose to spite your face. I don't know why these Democrats and honestly probably some of the Republicans too, the ruling class, bring in these people to hate us just so hopefully we can rule them. So they can install fear so that they can, we got to trust the government more because we're afraid of these people. See, it's all manipulation. It's all about power. Every time it's about power. We just can't lose sight of that. So anyway, the attack on Wednesday last week was their attack last week was on Wednesday. This guy was arrested on Tuesday. Our leaders have failed us, especially the previous administration. We have to stop acting like it was accidental incompetence. Yeah, maybe Biden was incompetent. However, everything that happened in his administration, he believed before he was incompetent. But whoever was pulling the strings, they are an issue. They hate me and they hate you. All right, let's keep going. This is from dailycallernewsfoundation.org. Dailycallernewsfoundation.org. John Cornyn, slightly ahead of the closest competition in a brutal Senate primary. Hey, look, this is this is a primary, and here's where I stand on it. Half my family in the John Cornyn camp. Big fans of John Cornyn, really like what he does. Half of them aren't. So I can see both sides, right? John Cornyn knows how to massage the Washington machine. John Cornyn knows how to get things done in D.C. I can see that. Also, I can see the other side. John Cornyn was a part of the Mitch McConnell leadership. It feels like John Cornyn sold us down the road a couple of times. It feels like he won't stand with true conservative values. So is that compromise in order to get some, he could either get nothing done or something done, and that's where he is? I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know enough to know what I don't know. I have friends and family in D.C. that'll say, hey, this man's getting stuff done for Republicans and for his state in Washington, D.C. I have friends in Texas and family in Texas that say, hey, this guy isn't for us at all. He's forgotten the little man. He's forgotten where he's come from. He's forgotten conservatives. So let's see what the polls are. 35% in the Republican primaries of likely Republican primary voters back Cornyn. 33% back Attorney General Ken Paxton. And 18% back Wesley Hunt. And this is all according to, the Daily Caller News Foundation. Now, here's the deal. And I think, our friend of the show, Steve Oglesby, was working on trying to get Wesley Hunt here to do that. And I've emailed the Cornyn campaign, and will do again, trying to get them to come in. Here's the deal. Ken Paxton has some questionable stuff about him, as we all do. Some's not as bad as others, but, we've all done things that if everybody knew about it, we would be embarrassed, right? But you still have to go on and live your life. You still have to go on and do what you need to do, what you feel God's called you to do. Whether he has or not will be decided. So anyway, there's 2% there. But Wesley Hunt's coming on strong. And I've never met the guy. The only one of these guys I've actually met is Ken Paxton. And you know how those meetings go. Hey, I'm Zach. Oh, hey, nice to meet you. I mean, I don't know him. I've not really had a real substantive conversation with him. Maybe, I think, 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, Of course, in general, you can learn a lot about somebody in that time. But when they're a professional politician, they know what you're trying to do. So anyway, we need to be involved, especially if you're in Texas. You need to be involved in this. You need to make sure how you feel is represented at the ballot box. Now, in that same election, we're going to have some there's some good state stuff going on. And then for me locally in Bowie County, there's a lot going on. So, and we'll talk about that more and more as we go. Let's see. Okay, moving on. jpost.com. That's the JerusalemPost.com. Trump confirms conversation with Maduro amid escalating U.S. Venezuelan tensions. Trump told military service members last week that the U.S. would very soon begin land operations to stop suspected Venezuelan drug trafficking. Now, I've seen 2 different things on this, neither of which is about drugs, by the way. Number one, this is to stop Russia from gaining a foothold close to the U.S. And number 2, this is about the voter information from the stolen election. And I'm not saying it couldn't be both. It very well could be both. I don't know if you all know this or not. They don't invite me to the meetings. So I just have to source all my information. And sometimes I get it wrong. But I believe this is stronger than just the drug play. Now, however, my entire life, I was a victim of the DARE program. That was going to be the savior of children. But my entire life, there's been the war on drugs. The war on drugs. Truly, now there's a war on drugs. If that's all this is about. I mean, fentanyl is killing how many people, right? So there's that. Anyway, we need to keep our eye on this, see what happens. We have a strong presence there. Maduro knows. Every strong man likes to get on their state-run media and act like, oh, we can do it. We can do it. We've got a chance. They don't. So anyway, let's see what happens there. I've read, and I don't know that it's in this. Let's see. I don't want to comment on it. The answer is yes. When asked if he had spoken with Maduro, so Trump didn't get any comment. I've read that he's given him a chance to leave the country, but I don't know. Somebody may have just made that up because it sounded good, right? They talked about something. They probably talked about a one-way ticket to let Jesus sort it out, like, hey, this is what's coming. All right, let's go to the BBC.com. Here's an interesting thing, and I mentioned this. I mentioned this in maybe it was the last show I did or a couple shows ago. Japan's coming on strong on a lot of things. I mentioned them not allowing Muslims, or maybe it's in my notes coming up. I don't know. If we get to it, we'll get to it. But, Japan's not allowing Muslims to do burials. In Japan, they have the culture of cremation. And they're like, hey, if these Muslims want to be buried, they can ship them back to their homeland. They don't get buried here. Japan's very much on their culture, so much as, for a long time, and I don't know if it still is, being a Muslim you couldn't do that. You couldn't have a Quran. You couldn't do these things. But that's not the only thing. They're on this. They're about preserving their culture, preserving their heritage, which is always okay to the left as long as it doesn't get in the way of the agenda of the left. So now Japan's same-sex marriage ban is constitutional, says a Tokyo court. One, I didn't know they had a same-sex marriage ban. I meant ban. And two, the court comes in and affirms it. Like, hey, we don't do this here. Now, I don't think this is something we can put back in the box in the U.S., and this isn't even something I'm calling to put back in the box, honestly. But Japan's like, we are going to uphold our culture. Once again, the left's always big about culture, appreciating culture. Don't want to appropriate somebody's culture, except for when it's not for them. I say good for Japan for trying to uphold who they are. We've watched Western Europe capitulate to everything besides their culture in my lifetime, right? And now it's Europe's on the verge of burning. We're watching the same thing happen in America. And I'm not just talking about the gay marriage thing or whatever. I mean, honestly, if you're a consenting adult, it doesn't affect me at all. Don't force my church to do it. Don't force my baker to bake you a cake if he doesn't want to. And if he does want to, good for him. We all have freedom as long as it's consenting adults. But don't come after my culture. And that's where Japan is. And that's what the left does is they come after your culture. All right, let's see. Let's move on. This is from Dr. Eli David put this on X.com, but it's a Milton Friedman quote. And it's a society that puts equality before freedom will get neither. A society that puts freedom before equality will get a high degree of both. That's exactly. Well, that goes back to what we were just saying, right? If you're just worried about everybody being free, equality comes through that. You're free to make your own choices. You're free to have the job you want to do. You're free to marry who you want to. But don't be so free that you're going to force me to like it. Don't be so free that you take money out of my paycheck to pay for your freedom. Don't force me to pay for your benefits when you're eating richer than I do. Right? That's what we have to be aware of. all these benefits and all these things take away from mine and your freedom. How much did you all pay in taxes this year? Or, it's December now. Looking forward, are you already thinking about filing an extension in April so that you can save enough money to pay your taxes next year? Right, that's real life for a lot of us. Now, also a lot of us have an account where we've got that set aside so that we can pay the taxes. But these are things. But is that freedom? A society that puts equality before freedom will get neither. A society that puts freedom before equality will get a high degree of both. That's exactly right. Oh, it looks like I had a couple things on this Fort Worth terrorist. This is from Nick Sorter, and just the same thing. That the guy was going to build a bomb and blow it up in Fort Worth, and my phone's doing something crazy. And then it says, as if we needed more proof that Biden and Jen Psaki lied when they said these people were thoroughly vetted. We knew they weren't vetted. Our media, our government, continues to lie to it. Now, I know that, as far as the government, Donald Trump is doing what he can to rein it in. Pete Hegseth, Caroline Leavitt. I mean, they're doing a great job. But the government is just an organism that's used to doing what it wants to do. That's why it seems slow, right? They're turning a ship. You don't just spin it around like a jet ski. Or turn a 3-wheeler compared to turning an 18-wheeler. It's tough. That's all the references to turning I have. I guess you can spin your horse if you're one of those. I can't. It's only going to get more country the more I go. Just so you know, I don't know how else to do it. Let's see. This is from Man of Memes, Ricky Doggin on X.com. It says, finally, someone found the off switch. Looks like Scott Bessent just walked into the Treasury, looked at a pile of money we've been shoveling into the pockets of people who... Oh, yeah, because we're turning off federal benefits for all illegal aliens. That's what we should have done. That's where we already should have been. I don't know why it's taking... Except for Trump. And Trump and the boys had to build the case that this is what was going to happen. They had to show where all the money was going. Now, they're even talking about, and I've been on this for a long time, really since I was in banking, and we had a Western Union in one of the banks I was in, and I saw the amount of money that goes tax-free into Mexico and around the world. People will bring cash in, give it to the Western Union, and then they'll send it around the world. We get no benefit from that, and then these people are on our benefits. And so this is saying, hey, they're going to look at doing money transfers overseas. This is in Mexico. At one point, it was one of its top 5 GDP indicators was wired money from the United States. Usually happens on Saturdays and Sundays, at least in this area. From my banking experience, the bank I worked at was 7 days a week, or one of them was, and so they would come in, they'd send all their money home. Which look, I get it. That's a good thing, right? Helping your family. If I was in that situation, I feel like I'd do the same. However, I'm not, and I'm for strong borders. But anyway, when this cash money goes, when this cash money goes, there's no taxes come off of it. If you stop making it so attractive to be here, you stop giving housing, you stop giving food, you stop giving away all this, and then you stop making it where you can go tax-free, and then you stop making it where you can just send all this money back, it gets a lot less appealing. That's all I'm saying. And that's all. And if you get a chance, go to Man of Memes, at Ricky Doggin on X.com. It's a whole long article. I don't have time to read it all, but it's worth reading. It's worth reading for sure. Let's see. This is another somewhat long one. This is from Channel Rion, OAN. Maybe it's Chanel. I don't know. on X.com. A reminder, the events leading to the end of Maduro in Venezuela in the coming week will make abundantly clear why Trump chose Rubio to be his Secretary of State and NSA. The Monroe Doctrine was on the agenda from day one. And so it says, don't be naive. Venezuela isn't some independent nation. We're not sending 10,000 troops and 8 warships over to drug dealers. We're going after China. Trump's Venezuela offensive is a third blow to Xi, Iran, Gaza, Venezuela. And this lady holds that this is about the oil. Side note, it's always about the oil. We're making it harder for China to exist. Remember, up until Nixon, China, well, they weren't existing. Then Clinton helped them out, and then it just keeps going, right? So there we go. This is from Mario Nawfal on X.com. Trump just posted the nuclear option, unlimited power to slam the border shut on any class of aliens. He didn't add commentary. He didn't need to. Yeah. So Trump says 212F is the legal bazooka. No 60-day notice, no congressional vote, no ACLU permission slip. The president alone declares or decides who gets in, who stays out, and for how long. Because the law says whenever he finds the entry would be detrimental to the interest of the United States. That's from the Immigration and Nationality Act, Section 212F. That's exactly right. And it has become detrimental, both economically and safety-wise. We had a person murdered last Wednesday. We just talked about, we had a person in Fort Worth try to blow up the city. It has become detrimental to our country to continue to allow all this immigration. We need to pause it, as has been done before. Give people time to assimilate. Give us time to get those that don't want to assimilate out. All the grifters and whatnot, let's get rid of them. Now, I've said this before and I'll say it again. If you're here and you've been here for 30 years and you're running a business or you have a family and you've done the things and you filed your paperwork and maybe if you haven't, but you're like, hey, I can go on a plan to pay back taxes and you've been producing, other than your taxes, you haven't committed a crime. Look, I'm for finding you a way to be here. That might mean going home for a little bit and filing your paperwork. I'm not saying lose everything, but if you haven't and if you've made no effort in 30 years, that's also on you. Why haven't you? So there you go. Back to Venezuela. Walter Kurt, I didn't realize I had so many articles on this. Want to know why America is pushing Venezuela so hard right now? Venezuela sells 90% of its heavy crude oil to China. There you go. The crude makes up roughly 5 to 8% of China's total oil supply. If we cut off Xi from Maduro, the Chinese have very limited options to replace that supply. The limitations on Russian oil means that there's no additional capacity to their north, so they are left with the Saudis, who Trump just had here, right? And that's what it says. The same Saudis who are best buddies with President Trump now. This is what it's about. It's about maintaining our way of life. It's about, look, China's at war with us, whether we want to admit it or not. It's about making our enemy say, hey, oh, okay, you're gonna steal our patents. You're gonna hurt us on all the things that you import. We're going to shut you down so hard that there's nothing you can do about it. Trump's not playing just a normal political games. He's out to win. But win for you, win for me, win for America. We're over here worried about what it looks like on the surface, worried about who you offended. He's trying to keep us alive and put our enemies into a place that it sets them back 200 years. That way we can continue to be, the beacon on the hill. That's all it is. Oh, here's this. Yeah, so it was from this. Eric Doherty. Japan has denied the construction of Muslim cemeteries. The Muslim request for cemeteries is denied in Japan. Cremation is the tradition. Return Muslim remains to their own countries and bury them there. It's about maintaining their culture. I don't know why that's so hard to get. Then this from Ian Yeager back to Scott Bessent. Treasury Secretary Ian Yeager on X.com. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent announces that he is removing illegal immigrants from the financial system completely. That exactly right. He is removing tax benefits and cross-border money transfers. There we go, baby. There we go, baby. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we need. That's the win. Oh, hey, I've got a little sound. There we go, baby. That's what we need. I got a new soundboard. You're going to start hearing some sound effects just because I can. All right. Moving on. Okay, so here's this from AmericanWireNews.com. New House oversight video shows aides admitting they propped Biden up as he declined. Yeah, that's exactly right. And now the media is acting surprised about it. Here's the deal. These are the same people that are trying to tell you that Donald Trump's wrong now. These are the same people trying to tell you that Donald Trump isn't the answer. These are the same people trying to tell you that the country's going bad. We cannot believe them. We have to open our minds and think critically and logically and see what's happening. Just don't buy the lie. Just don't buy the lie. Let's see. Thomas Sewell quotes. Let me make sure this is right. This is from Representative Wesley Hunt, actually, but it's Thomas Sewell quotes on X.com is who posted it. Representative Wesley Hunt. I'm black. I'm a veteran, and I have 6 forms of ID. 6 forms of ID. The idea that a black or brown person cannot get an ID to vote is insulting. Look, Democrats are the most racist people there are. Oh, we think because you're a certain color, you need help doing this, or you need help doing this because you don't know how. What? Why don't they know how? Oh, because they're black. I don't look at your race as a disability. Democrats do. Okay, let's see. Trump, is this still happening? thesun.co.uk. Trump will recognize occupied Ukraine as Russia's in bombshell gift to Putin to help. Putin won it. Zelensky wanted the heat. Putin brought the heat. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Trump's like, hey, let's just stop this. You get what you get. If Putin wanted it all, he could have already taken it all. Anyway, all right. That's what I've got, everybody. That's where we are. That's your update for today. Anyway, I hope God blesses each and every one of you. I hope you have a great week. I hope you have a great December. If you're like my house, we had a Elf on the Shelf showed up today, started our Advent calendar today, getting ready for the recognition of the birth of the Savior of the world on the 25th. Now, I know some of you, he wasn't born then. He wasn't born. Yeah, I get it. We can recognize his birthday when we want to. And we will. Thank you, Jesus, for coming to this earth in order that we be saved. Thank you for wanting us to be with you so much that you came, you became human, you became flesh, you died for us, and then you got up for us. Thank you, God. Anyway, God bless you. We'll be back. We'll do it all again tomorrow. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. That way you're updated each time fresh content comes out. And thank you for being part of the Zach Ratliff Show.